The grand ballroom of the Fairmont Grand Hotel was a vision of opulence. Crystal chandeliers sparkled overhead, casting a soft glow over the elegantly dressed attendees. The air buzzed with the hum of polite conversation, laughter, and the clinking of champagne glasses. It was the annual charity gala for the Bright Futures Foundation, an organization dedicated to providing educational opportunities for underprivileged youth. The guest list was a who's who of influential figures, business tycoons, Hollywood stars, and prominent journalists, all gathered for a night of philanthropy and networking. Seated at a table near the front of the room was Donald Trump, his larger-than-life presence impossible to ignore. Dressed in his signature sharp suit and red tie, he exuded confidence, his trademark smile occasionally flashing as he exchanged pleasantries with those around him. Unlike many in the room who thrived on attention, Trump seemed to relish the spotlight, his charisma drawing eyes even when he wasn't speaking. The evening had been uneventful so far. A string quartet played softly in the background. Waiters circulated with trays of hors d'oeuvres, and the occasional burst of laughter punctuated the air. But the real highlight of the night was yet to come. The keynote speech by a well-known journalist, celebrated for their sharp wit and unapologetic commentary. The journalist had built a reputation for pushing boundaries, and many in the room were curious, and perhaps a little nervous, about what they would say. As the journalist took the stage, the room fell silent. Dressed in a sleek black suit, they exuded confidence, their smile wide and self-assured. They began with light-hearted jokes about the city's traffic and a humorous anecdote about a past gala mishap. The audience laughed, the tension in the room easing. But then, the tone shifted. The journalist's commentary turned pointed, targeting political figures with biting humor. They poked fun at well-known personalities, their jabs drawing chuckles from some and uneasy glances from others. Then, they turned their attention to Donald Trump. "We can't talk about the state of the world without mentioning the man who made orange the new black," the journalist quipped, referencing Trump's distinctive appearance. The room erupted in mixed reactions. Some laughed, others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Trump, seated at his table, remained still, his expression unreadable. The journalist continued, their tone growing sharper. "And of course, we can't forget his most overlooked legacy, his ability to turn every conversation into a tweet storm." The room froze. Heads turned toward Trump, who sat motionless, his face now the center of attention. The journalists smirked, clearly pleased with themselves. Imagine waking up every morning to a barrage of tweets about world leaders, fake news, and, of course, how great everything is. Must have been exhausting for the rest of us. The attempt at humor fell flat. A few nervous chuckles echoed through the room, but most sat in stunned silence. The spotlight, unasked for and unwelcome, had landed squarely on Trump. The journalist, sensing the discomfort, tried to recover. "Tough crowd," they muttered into the microphone, forcing a laugh that no one echoed. The tension in the room was palpable. All eyes were on Trump, waiting for his reaction. Would he storm out? Would he retaliate? No one could have predicted what happened next. Trump stood. Slowly, deliberately, he pushed back his chair and rose to his full height. The room held its breath as he walked toward the stage, his steps measured and his posture unwavering. The journalist, now visibly uncomfortable, gripped the edge of the podium, their earlier confidence evaporating. Trump stopped a few feet from the stage and turned to face the crowd. His voice, calm and steady, cut through the silence. "Thank you for your insight," he began, his tone firm but devoid of anger. "I've spent years watching people make assumptions about me, my family, and my life. It's almost become a game to some, a way to fill in the gaps when you don't know the full story." The room was captivated. Trump's words carried a weight that seemed to command attention. "But there's something important that often gets overlooked," he continued. "Behind every headline, behind every punchline, there's a human being. Someone with their own struggles, their own dreams, and their own story. You may think you know me because of what you see on TV, but you don't. Not really. The journalist shifted uncomfortably. Their earlier bravado completely dissolved. Trump's gaze swept the room as he spoke, his voice steady and filled with quiet conviction. What I've learned is that respect doesn't have to be earned. It should be given freely, especially when you don't know someone's story. The audience was spellbound. Trump's words weren't an attack. They were a mirror, reflecting the weight of what had just occurred. We live in a time where it's easy to tear each other down, he said. Words have power. They can hurt, or they can heal. They can divide, or they can unite. And I think we could all use a little more of the latter. With that, Trump turned and walked back to his seat. The room erupted into applause, the sound building into a thunderous standing ovation. The journalist, still standing at the podium, attempted to muster a smile, but it was clear the moment no longer belonged to them. Within hours, videos of Trump's response began circulating on social media. News outlets picked up the story, praising his composure and unexpected grace. The incident sparked widespread conversations about respect, empathy, and the power of words. Trump's calm and thoughtful response had struck a chord, reminding everyone that even in the face of provocation, dignity and grace can prevail. As the dust settled, one thing was clear. Donald Trump had not only defended his own dignity but had also inspired a moment of collective reflection. His actions served as a powerful reminder that respect, even when undeserved, can be a transformative force. And in a world often dominated by outrage and division, that was a lesson worth remembering.